We live in a world that has mastered distraction. Everything around us is designed to pull attention away from what actually matters: constant entertainment, endless scrolling, shallow conversations, the pressure to keep up with people we don't even know. But beneath all of it, there's a question almost everyone is trying to avoid: what am I actually doing with my life? That question is uncomfortable because it forces you to admit how much time has already been wasted. It makes you realize that most of what you do isn't truly your choice, it's just habit, expectation, or fear. But here's the truth: no one wants to hear you don't find purpose. You create it, and you can do it instantly. For centuries, philosophers have argued about the meaning of life, but they all arrive at the same conclusion: waiting for purpose to magically appear is the fastest way to waste a life. Nietzsche said meaning isn't given to us, it's something we must build. Sartre took it further, saying existence itself is meaningless until we give it meaning through our choices. And yet, most people still sit around waiting for clarity, waiting for motivation, waiting for some external sign that tells them exactly what to do. But that moment never comes. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to act. So how do you create purpose instantly? Simple: you decide. That's it. Purpose isn't something you discover after years of searching, it's something you build the moment you commit to something real. It doesn't matter if you don't feel ready. It doesn't matter if you don't have all the answers. The only thing that matters is action. Because action is what transforms a meaningless existence into something worth living. When have you ever felt truly alive? Was it when you were endlessly overthinking, or was it when you were actually doing something? Purpose isn't found in thought, it's found in movement. The biggest mistake people make is thinking purpose is some grand, mystical revelation. It's not. Purpose is built in the small, daily decisions you make. It's built when you stop waiting for the perfect moment and start doing the work. It's built when you stop saying, "I don't know what I want," and start eliminating what you don't want. Every second you hesitate, someone else is moving forward, making choices, building something real. Not because they had more clarity than you, but because they refused to let hesitation win.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound insights.
And here's the thing: you already know what you should be doing. It's the idea that keeps coming back to you, the thing you keep pushing aside, the dream you tell yourself is too unrealistic. The only reason it feels impossible is because you haven't fully committed to it yet. The moment you do, everything changes. Your brain stops searching for excuses and starts looking for solutions. Your time stops feeling empty because it's being used for something real. And suddenly, the thing that felt overwhelming becomes the thing that gives your life meaning. Most people won't do this. Most people will hear everything I'm saying, feel inspired for a few minutes, and then go right back to their old habits. Because it's easier to stay the same. It's easier to keep doing what's familiar, even if it's making you miserable. Change is uncomfortable. Commitment is uncomfortable. But do you know what's worse? Waking up 10 years from now and realizing that nothing in your life has changed because you were too afraid to act. So here's the question you need to answer right now: are you actually going to do something? Or are you just going to keep waiting? Most people won't admit it, but the real reason they're stuck isn't because they don't know what to do, it's because doing it would force them to give up the comfort of inaction. It's easy to say you're lost, that you're still figuring things out, that you need more time. It makes you feel like you're being thoughtful, like you're waiting for the right moment. But the truth is, hesitation is just fear wrapped in logic. The mind is brilliant at coming up with reasons to delay: too busy, too tired, not ready yet, need more skills, need more confidence. But none of that is real. The only difference between those who move forward and those who stay stuck is that one group acts despite the doubt, and the other waits for the doubt to disappear. And here's the brutal truth: the doubt never disappears. It's always there. The only way to get rid of it is to act while it's still screaming at you to stop. Purpose isn't some magical feeling that appears when life finally makes sense. It's something you generate through action. The problem is, most people want to feel ready before they start, but that's not how it works. Readiness is a result, not a requirement. Think about anything you've ever accomplished. Was confidence there at the beginning, or did it come later, after you actually started? Clarity comes from movement. Motivation comes from progress. The reason you feel stuck isn't because you haven't found your purpose, it's because you're still waiting for the feeling of purpose before you take action. But that feeling only comes after you've committed. Most don't realize this, so they keep waiting for a moment that will never arrive. Days turn into weeks, weeks into years, and suddenly, life hasn't changed because they spent all their time preparing instead of doing. But here's the good news: you don't need to wait. You can create purpose instantly, right now. Not by thinking about it, not by planning for it, but by choosing something and moving toward it with full commitment. It could be anything. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be the ultimate thing you'll do forever. It just has to be real. Pick something that matters and build momentum. The second you commit, everything shifts. Your mind stops searching for reasons to delay and starts looking for ways to make it work. Opportunities that seemed invisible before suddenly start appearing. And most importantly, time stops feeling wasted because every moment is being used for something real. Most will hear this and still hesitate. They will still wait for a little more certainty, a little more confidence, a little more proof that they're making the right choice. And that's exactly why they'll stay stuck. But the few who decide, who act with full commitment, even in the middle of uncertainty, those are the ones who actually build something meaningful. So the only real question left is this: are you going to keep waiting, or are you finally going to move? Most people think they need to find the perfect path before they start, but that's just another excuse to stay stuck. The ones who actually build something meaningful aren't the ones who had it all figured out from the beginning. They're the ones who started before they felt ready, made mistakes, adjusted, and kept going. Waiting for certainty is the fastest way to waste a life. The truth is, no one is coming to hand you purpose. No one is going to show up and give you permission to start. No one is going to wake you up one day and say, "Okay, now you're ready." That moment never comes. The only way forward is to decide that the waiting is over, right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when life feels easier, because it never will. There will always be distractions. There will always be reasons to delay. But the longer you wait, the harder it becomes to move. Look around. How many people do you know who keep saying they want to do something but never actually do it? How many talk about starting that project, chasing that goal, changing their life, but years pass and nothing happens? The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is never just intelligence, talent, or luck. It's action. That's it. The willingness to move even when it feels uncomfortable, even when the doubt is loud, even when the fear is strong. And here's what no one tells you: the fear doesn't go away when you succeed. The doubt doesn't disappear after you start making progress. The uncertainty is always there, but it no longer controls you because action makes it irrelevant. The more you move, the less power fear has. The more you commit, the less doubt matters. And the more you push forward, the more you realize that waiting was never the answer. So now it comes down to this: what are you going to do? Not tomorrow, not next week, but right now. Because the truth is, you already know what needs to be done. You know exactly what you've been avoiding. You know the steps you've been delaying, the decisions you've been putting off, the work you've been convincing yourself you're not ready for. But you are. You always were. The only thing missing was action. And now there are no more excuses, no more waiting, no more hesitation. This is it. Move. Most people will hear all of this, nod in agreement, maybe feel a burst of motivation, and then do nothing. Not because they don't want change, not because they don't believe it's possible, but because hesitation has become their default. It's a habit, just like anything else. The habit of waiting, of second-guessing, of overthinking every decision until the moment passes. And the worst part, every time you hesitate, every time you delay action, you reinforce that habit. You train your mind to associate decisions with fear instead of movement. You make inaction the standard. And once that becomes your normal state, breaking out of it feels impossible. But it isn't. It's just uncomfortable. And that's where most people give up at the first sign of discomfort. They retreat. They convince themselves they need more time, more certainty, more proof that they're making the right choice. But certainty is an illusion. The only real proof comes from action. Nothing changes until you move. The biggest mistake people make is thinking they need to feel ready before they start. That's why they stay stuck. Readiness isn't something you wait for, it's something you generate through movement. Think about it. Have you ever started something new and felt completely confident from day one? Probably not. Confidence comes from repetition. The more you do something, the better you get, and the better you get, the more natural it feels. But most never reach that point because they never allow themselves to be bad at something long enough to improve. They quit before they even begin. They let fear of imperfection stop them from taking the first step. But what's the alternative? Staying exactly where you are, trapped in the same cycle, watching time slip away while nothing changes. If that thought doesn't scare you more than the fear of failure, then you're not paying attention. At some point, you have to decide that hesitation is no longer an option, that waiting is no longer an option, that the discomfort of change is worth it because the alternative is wasting your life on distractions, excuses, and empty days that blend into each other. You already know what needs to be done. You already feel it, the thing that keeps nagging at you, the idea that won't go away, the work that calls to you even when you try to ignore it. The only thing left is to do it. Not think about it, not plan for it, not wait for the perfect time. Do it, right now. Because if not now, then when? And if not you, then who? Most people don't realize how fast time is slipping away until it's too late. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and before they know it, years have passed and nothing has changed. They keep telling themselves they'll start tomorrow, that they just need a little more time, but tomorrow keeps getting pushed further away. And then one day they wake up and realize they've spent most of their life waiting. Waiting for the right moment, waiting for confidence, waiting for some sign that never comes. But the truth is, life doesn't wait. It moves forward whether you act or not, and the longer you hesitate, the more you lose. The people who actually build something meaningful aren't the ones who had the best circumstances or the most talent. They're the ones who refuse to let time slip through their fingers. They didn't wait for motivation. They didn't wait for approval. They didn't wait for the fear to go away. They moved, and because they moved, everything changed. The mind loves to create excuses. It will tell you that you need more time, that you're not ready, that maybe you should wait until things are easier. But when has anything meaningful ever been easy? When has anything worth doing ever come without discomfort? The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't intelligence, luck, or talent. It's the willingness to act even when it feels uncertain. The ones who stay stuck are the ones who let their feelings dictate their actions. They wait to feel ready instead of realizing that readiness is a result of action, not a requirement for it. And the ones who move forward. They accept that fear and doubt will always be there, but they refuse to let those feelings control them. They understand that clarity comes from movement, not from sitting around waiting for the perfect plan. So the only thing left is the decision. Either you keep waiting, keep hesitating, keep letting life slip by while you drown in distractions and excuses, or you move. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be the ultimate thing you'll do forever. It just has to be real. The second you commit, everything shifts. Your mind stops searching for reasons to delay and starts looking for ways to make it work. Opportunities that seemed invisible before suddenly appear. And most importantly, time stops feeling wasted because every moment is being used for something that matters. Most will hear this and still hesitate. They will still wait for a little more certainty, a little more confidence, a little more proof that they're making the right choice. And that's exactly why they'll stay stuck. But the few who decide, who act with full commitment, even in the middle of uncertainty, those are the ones who actually build lives that mean something. So the real question isn't whether you have a purpose. It's whether you're willing to stop waiting and start living. Most people don't fail because they lack potential. They fail because they never fully commit. They dip their toes in, hesitate, second-guess themselves, and then wonder why nothing ever works. Half effort brings half results. Indecision kills momentum. The ones who actually make things happen aren't necessarily the most talented or the most prepared. They're the ones who go all in. They decide that failure isn't the enemy, that discomfort isn't a signal to stop, that doubt is just noise that doesn't deserve attention. And because they commit fully, they get further in a few months than most people do in years. Meanwhile, those who hesitate watch from the sidelines, convincing themselves they'll start soon. But soon never comes. Days turn into years, and they're still standing in the same place, wondering why they feel stuck. The truth is, nothing changes until you do. No amount of thinking, planning, or waiting will substitute for action. You can analyze every possibility, try to predict every outcome, but at the end of the day, the only thing that moves you forward is doing the work. And yet, most people avoid it. They distract themselves with busy work, overcomplicate simple decisions, and convince themselves they need more preparation before they begin. But that's just fear in disguise. The ones who succeed understand that clarity comes from movement, not from overthinking. They know that even a wrong step is better than standing still because at least it teaches them something real. And that's the difference. They're willing to get it wrong, to look foolish, to stumble, because they know that's the price of progress. The ones who stay stuck are the ones too afraid to even try. So at some point you have to decide, are you going to keep waiting, or are you going to finally start? Not halfway, not with one foot in the door while the other stays planted in comfort, but fully. Because until you do, nothing will change. You'll keep watching, keep hesitating, keep wondering why life feels stagnant while others move ahead. And it won't be because they had more opportunities or better luck, it will be because they refuse to let hesitation win. This is the moment. Not tomorrow. Not when it feels easier. Right now. Because if you don't act now, when will you? And if you don't take control of your own life, who will?